إن الحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا وصلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يقول سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا ذلك جزاؤهم جهنم بما كفروا واتخذوا آياتي ورسلي هزوا اللهم لا تجعلنا منهم آمين. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم ثم أما بعد. In today's brief khutbah, inshallah ta'ala, I wanted to share with you a reminder from the end of Surah Al-Kahf. Surah Al-Kahf is a surah that is masnoon. It's from the legacy of the Prophet ﷺ to recite it on the day of Friday. And it has a lot of very beautiful lessons and some very scary lessons. And this is not something, for the most part, what I have to share with you today is not something you don't already know. It's really only going to serve as a reminder for myself and for all of you. Allah Azza wa Jalla in this surah talks about people that are in some sense delusional. They don't understand reality for what it really is. There's a dua of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan wa zuqna tiba'ahu. Oh Allah, show us the truth to be the truth. The dua in itself suggests that there are a lot of times people see something and they don't realize what it is. They fail to realize what reality is. And then not only should you see reality for what it is, then provision us, وَرْزُقْنَا, give us provision that we have the ability of following it too. So there's two problems here at least. The first problem is recognizing reality for what it is. At least being able to see the truth. But even if after someone sees the truth, they may not have the strength of character to follow it. There's two problems. So there is al-maghub alayhim min al-fatiha and al-dhalin. Somebody who sees the truth, he still doesn't follow it, gets Allah's anger. And someone who never saw the truth to begin with is lost. They're lost entirely. This surah talks about a specific kind of person who's delusional, who's lost. And Allah gives several examples of them. And in the beginning, as a matter of fact, He shared examples of young people that saw reality for what it is. They realized where success and failure lie. Their kingdom had warned them if they hold on to Islam, they'll be executed. But they knew that this execution and this life will not be anything compared to what we have to suffer in front of Allah. So they understood the true meaning of success and failure, and they lived their lives accordingly. They prefer living in a cave than going back to ships. This is the same surah you find two gardeners, one wealthy, one so poor that his assets aren't even mentioned. One of them is so wealthy that Allah dedicates a couple of ayat just to describe his gardens. That's a pretty big deal, that Allah is describing this person's assets. And the other, just sahibuhu, it's his companion. In other words, that guy doesn't have much at all. And yet one of them understands real success and real failure, and the other doesn't, and one learns his lesson the hard way. As you continue in the surah, you'll find the same thing over and over again. A comparison between what people think reality is and what it really represents. So at the end of this surah, Allah talks about the worst kind of loser. And these are the ayat I wanted to share with you. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Akhsar in the Arabic language, al-akhsar. Afdalut tafdeel. It's the superlative form. Should we inform you, Allah says. Allah says, tell them, should we inform you of the one who is most delusional when it comes to their deeds? It's a very interesting linguistic subtlety in this ayah that I want to make as easy to understand as possible. Allah says, qul, say. When the messenger is commanded to say something, then usually what follows is, tell them, should I teach you? Should I warn you? Should I inform you? Because now the messenger is talking, so he says, I. But here Allah says, قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ. Tell them, should we inform you? The messenger is talking himself to the people, and he's using the word we for himself. The ayah starts with the word قُلْ, so we know that it's not Allah talking here. Allah is telling his messenger to talk, and even the messenger says, we. We is obviously plural. That's an important subtlety to understand the message of this ayah. Essentially, there are people who live a materialistic life. And when the messenger tries to warn them, and anybody after the messenger trying to do what the messenger did, anyone else tries to warn them, they say, this is between me and Allah. This has nothing to do with you. A lot of times materialistic people think Allah is not unhappy with them, they're fine. Allah is actually very happy with them, even though they're living a life of materialism. And these people that are trying to warn me, they're just extreme. They don't really know what they're talking about. This is between me and God Himself. In this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla makes sure that the people that have fallen into materialism hear this ayah and understand not only is the messenger warning and telling you this, Allah is telling you this too. This nahnu combines Allah and the messenger. Allah and His messenger, should we inform you of the one who is the worst loser, akhsari, in terms of their deeds, a'mana. The worst type of loser in terms of their deeds. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. These are the words that terrify me personally. Those who wasted, ضَلَّ in Arabic, to be lost also. To be lost. All of their efforts, all the sa'i, they rushed towards something. They made efforts towards something. And before I go on to finish the ayah, we need to understand something about ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا. What is sa'i فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا? Some of you are employees, you're working hard to get a promotion. Some of you are working hard to finish school. Some of you are working hard to pay off a house, to pay off a loan, to get rid of student loans. Some of you are working hard to, maybe get your MBA, or to expand your business, or to get this much savings, or save enough to get your son or daughter sent to college, or have enough money to pull off a wedding for your children, etc., etc. We're all running towards something. And these goals are pretty big sometimes. And they're very heavy responsibilities. And they can be so heavy responsibilities for many of you heads of households, that's all you think about all day. You're stuck in traffic thinking, oh, how much money's in the account? Did I pay the electricity bill? Did I take care of that? Did I take care of this? I gotta get this done, I gotta get that done. You're constantly the businesses, if you're running a business especially, it's constantly running in your mind. It doesn't let you go. You can go to sleep thinking about business, you wake up thinking about business. It's something that you don't even almost have a choice over. So much so that even when you're spending time with your family, it's supposed to be your time off, right? But you can't have the phone too far away from you, because you might get a text from the client, or you might get an update on the project or something, You're always tied up with work, constantly. And so a person can spend their entire life living like this, just constantly engrossed in work, and never giving thought to what is not in front of us. There's so much in front of us right now, there's so much responsibility and so much preoccupation that we barely have time to step back and think, take a breath. Just look at the sky for a couple of minutes. The Quran is full of these ayat that ask the believer to look at the sky, and look at the mountain, and back in that climate, stare at the camel, look at how wonderful it's been created. I mean, how many of us we live in Texas, the Chinese used to call it when they first came to Texas, they used to call it the land of the open sky, because it's such a flat land, so you see, because when you go to New York City or other places, people don't see the sky, all they see is concrete. We see the sky all the time. But yet, how many people even look at the sky and wonder, what an amazing creation of Allah? We don't even have time for that kind of thought, because that's too trivial for us. We have more important things to worry about. There's way much more going on in our heads. We're no longer a people of reflection, of remembrance, of actually taking time out of that busy schedule and cleaning our minds out, more importantly, and actually taking time out to remember Allah, to thank Allah for what He's given us. You and I are so important with our jobs and our studies, and we think it's all in our control. It's my job. I got to get this done and got to get that done. And we forget to think that it is Allah that gave us the health, the ability, the opportunity, the employer, the car, the house. It just came from Him. And the one who gave it to all of us and continues to give and doesn't snatch away is the one we forget to mention and thank. Even think about it. And a person will live their life like this. And the only time they'll say Alhamdulillah will be on their tongue and not even in their heart. Somebody says, how's it going? Alhamdulillah, pretty good. But they don't mean that Alhamdulillah from the body. It's just something they're used to saying. It's one thing to say hamd, thank Allah from your tongue. It's another to feel grateful to Allah from your heart. It's two different things. And you can tell the difference between two kinds of people. The one who says astaghfirullah and means astaghfirullah, two different things. You could say astaghfirullah and keep laughing at somebody. You could say alhamdulillah and keep disobeying Allah too. Or you could say it and mean it and make a change in your life, right? These are people that are, I'm not talking in this ayah about busy people, like all of us are. Many of you barely have time to make it to Jummah, barely. So what you do is, and I don't hate on you or anything, that's the reality of many of you. You're sitting in the khutbah constantly checking your watch, or checking the phone. Why? Because this is not something that important. There's more important things I got to do. This is just something I'm used to doing. I got to get it done, get it over with, and get back to the really important stuff. This is just kind of an obstacle in my day. When I used to live in New York, a lot of masajid are in Manhattan, in New York City. Especially in Midtown, there are a lot of small masajid inside buildings. You wouldn't know it's a masjid, it's like the third floor of a building or something like that. And maybe 500, 600, 700 people, 1,000 people in one of those floors. Crazy. But you know what happens when the khutbah begins? The crowd is like this. Is this big. And by the time the iqamah rolls around, there are people in the street praying. And most of those people, they don't have time for khutbah. That's not really that important anyway. Let me just catch at least the ruku of the second rak'ah. Let me catch that one, and I'll be fine. I gotta get back. I got more important things to do. These are people that don't even pray, forget 5 times. They're barely catching Jummah. And it's not a question of them being evil people or bad or anything like that. You know what the problem is? They'll tell you themselves, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I got a lot on my plate. These are the exact people Allah is talking. And by the way, they will tell you, I am so busy because if I don't do this work, then I'll miss out. I'll lose my client. I'll lose my job. I'll lose the project. I won't finish. I'll be a loser. Somehow there's loss involved. This ayah began, قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Should we inform you of those who are the worst type of loser when it comes to their deeds? Allah doesn't want your and my leftover deeds. He doesn't want the kind of salah that He knows. Urdu mein kehte hain thuk malish. That's what they call it in Urdu. It's like, just whatever, get it over with. The hit and run prayer. Bang your head on the floor a couple of times and get back to what's really important. That's not what Allah is interested in. Allah wants an actual salah, the kind of attention you pay. When your employer calls you, your boss calls you into his office and tells you about a promotion that you might be qualified for, the way your ears perk up, the way you listen for every detail, the way your teacher calls you into the office and says, by the way, you're not doing so well on this exam, the way your heart is in your throat, because you know it has to do with your success. Pay attention. But when you and I stand in front of salat, it's like, stand in front of Allah in salat, let's get it over with. We got more important things to worry about. A lot on my plate. There's a lot on my plate. SubhanAllah. You know, something that was a good reminder for me. I recently went abroad. And as I was coming back, you have to go through customs. When you go through customs, the security officer is going to ask you a few questions. And most people at that time are pretty nervous. When they ask you questions like, is he going to send me in the back? Ask me some more other interesting questions. I'm going to have to sit here for 4 hours, etc. As the questioning is happening, you're nervous. You're nervous. You and I are nervous. Allah is asking us questions in Qur'an. But we just recite those ayat and we don't get nervous. Who cares? It's just Qur'an. It's beautiful Qur'an being recited. Some qari will be invited and he's going to recite these same ayat. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. And people will be sitting here, not one of them will understand what he's saying, and they're going to be like, SubhanAllah, beautiful. And yet the ayat are telling them that they're the worst of losers. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Their efforts in worldly life were completely put to waste. At the end of the day, you'll say to yourself, I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this so I can own a house at the end of the day. I can have a little bit of savings. That's what we're working for. And by the time you look back, your hair is turning gray, you're starting to bald, your back is bending a little bit, kids are getting bigger and they're not even listening to you anymore. And you start wondering, what did I give my life to? What just happened? Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in Surah Al-Tawbah, scariest thing. فَلَا تُعْجِبْكَ أَمْوَالُهُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادُهُم. Don't be impressed with their money and don't be impressed with their kids. You know, people show off their money and they show off their kids nowadays, right? Oh, my son's a doctor. He's going to med school. He's doing this. He's doing that. We like to show off our children. You know, he became a lawyer. Oh, he just bought a house over there. Pretty cheap. Just $500,000. People like kind of throwing it into conversation. Allah had this messenger. Don't be impressed with their money. Don't be impressed with their kids. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ بِهَا. Allah only intends to torture them with their money and their kids. وَتَزْهَقَ أَنفُسُهُمْ. And their own selves will get confused. It's like they'll eat themselves up. All the things they work towards are the very things that will destroy them. The high blood pressure, and the depression, and the lack of sleep, the insomnia, all of that will come because of their money, and because of that business. They won't have any peace in life left. And because of that money, they won't be able to give any time to their families either. So they'll have a horrible family life. And then all their life just involved, all it boils down to is their career, or is their business. That's all it is. You know people like that at work. All they can talk about is work. All they can talk about is, or if outside of that, maybe some TV show. That's it. That's all their life amounts to. It's either work or play. There's nothing else in life for them. Allah gave us so much more. This is the whole point of believing in the unseen. There are priorities, there's a reality, there are punishments, there are rewards that we cannot see. But we know that they are far more powerful and far more important and a far bigger priority in my life and yours than what you can see. But you know how they say in English, out of sight, out of mind. You don't see the akhirah. You don't see the rewards of Jannah. You don't see the rewards being written. The Messenger ﷺ gives us the good news of those who come early for the Friday prayer, those who sit and listen to the khutbah attentively while not talking, in our times not talking, or texting, or checking their Facebook status, or etc., etc. Their rewards are written. But that writing is not happening before your eyes. It's not some security camera that's capturing it. This is all happening in the unseen. And because it's in the unseen, who cares? Out of sight, out of mind, right? So it's very casual for you and I to just, in the middle of khutbah, how many times people are talking to each other? How many people are just scrolling in? I've seen people take phone calls during Jummah. And I say, don't these people, some people might wonder, don't these people have any manners? Don't they know? You know what the real problem is? They're not afraid of what they can't see. Everybody knows the warning. Everybody knows all of your good deeds, and I don't have many. My good deeds are burnt away like dry wood just by talking in a khutbah. Just by that. But I don't see that, right? So it's just a phone call, it's no big deal. It's not a big deal, I can just talk. You know? These are the people that the only time they have concern and they have an effort and they rush to something is for worldly life. سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. There is no sa'i in deen. You come to salat, Allah talks about the munafiq, He says, وَلَا يَأْتُونَ الصَّلَاةَ إِلَّا وَهُمْ كُسَالَى. They don't come to the prayer except that they're lazy. Oh man, salat again. They have a lazy attitude towards meeting with Allah. But meeting with the client, meeting with the partner, meeting at the office, meeting at the movie theater, the movie's going to start in 5 minutes, gotta go, let's go. Nobody says, Iqamah is starting in 10 minutes, let's go for Isha. But we wouldn't want to miss the trailers at the movie, right? This is better priorities. What is someone prioritized in their life? These ayat are not about halal and haram. They're entirely about what is a priority in your life and mine. Like Allah says later on in Quran, وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. Someone who gave preference to worldly life. That was their priority. That's what came first. When they thought about what's important in their life, it all had to do with this world in one way or another. There was no concern, and therefore no serious investment into the next life. There wasn't one. وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. I started this khutbah by saying this is going to be about delusional people. And they have assumed, these are the people, يَحْسَبُونَ. They have this confident assumption that they have manufactured something beautiful. يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. They have excelled in putting something together. They've really done a number. They've built this house and they've paid off for it. this kind of delusion can even happen for those who work for religious causes. So I'm not just talking about people that are materialistic and that all they're running after is, goods and cars and homes and monies. Not just that, but people who want to show off even what they've done for their deen. But they only did it for recognition. People paying, donating lots and lots of money for masajid and giving all of these good things. That's all great. But the moment you start talking about, this happens to me a lot. It's very awkward, actually. I feel bad for people who do this. I travel around many masjids across North America. They're in small towns, not like our city. They're in small towns with a very small Muslim population. Maybe the entire Jummah of that city will be like 200 people, 300 people. That's it. And there'll be a couple of wealthy Muslims who donate a lot of money and build a masjid. But you know what? Every time some visitor comes, someone like me comes, give a khutbah, they'll make sure at the end of the khutbah they'll come and say, "Assalamu alaikum, brother, I'm the director of this masjid, I built this place." When I came here, there was nothing here, and alhamdulillah, I built this place. Really? Alhamdulillah? Because if it was alhamdulillah, he already heard it. I didn't need to hear that. And if you're trying to tell Allah, He already knows. There's no reason for you to impose that, or even let me know. Because I benefit nothing from it, you certainly get harmed by it. You're harmed by it, because Allah doesn't like to share in credit. We did it for Allah Azza wa Jal, it's enough. He knows. It reminds me of an interesting story, a narrative between Umar radiallahu anhu and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The messenger was passing by radiallahu anhu and he saw Umar bin al-Khattab reciting Qur'an in a very loud voice. And he went past and he saw Abu Bakr as-Siddiq reciting in a very low voice. Barely hear it. And so he asked Umar, why are you reciting in such a loud voice? And he said, I'm reciting it loud so the devils run away. So shayateen gets scared. So I make my voice loud. And also the kuffar, they get scared. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he asked him, why do you recite so low? And he says, well, the one who needs to hear it can hear a low voice too. Talking about Allah. So the messenger tells Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, raise your voice a little. And he tells Umar bin Khattab, lower your voice a little, keep it in between. But the reason I mention that is there's a balance. Yes, when we give for the sake of Allah, it's good in some context to let people know that this was given because it encourages them to give. But if you're not that type of person, if you don't have that strength, that you think you're not doing this, you're not just saying I gave this, so people say, MashaAllah, you're so awesome. May Allah reward you even more. Allah is going to reward you already. You don't need my dua or my appreciation. You need His appreciation. So people can even do religious things for the wrong reason. They got nothing out of it. All they got was some appreciation. Somebody got to say, this one has this position or that position. What are these positions going to do for us on Judgment Day? Nobody's going to come on Judgment Day before Allah Azza wa Jalla and say, Ya Allah, I was treasurer of the masjid. I was the imam. I was the secretary. I was the president. I ran the fundraiser. I made sure they got a better carpet. I installed the projector. I did this, I did that. No, this is not going to apply on that day. He knows why we did whatever we did. He knows why we did it. There are the seen results of what we do, and there are the unseen results of what we do. When you and I do things solely for the sake of Allah, then whether we see results in this life or not, it doesn't even matter. Because it's already been counted with Allah. It's already been counted. So, this is a small part of the khutbah reminding those that volunteer in the masjid or help out in this masjid or any masjid for that matter. We try to put a program together. We try to put a youth program together. Make some effort, some halaqah, and 2 people show up, 3 people, nobody showed up. When people say, this program was a failure, didn't work. The people who put in the time to advertise it, sincerely, the people who attended it, the people who made the effort to teach at that program, all of them were expecting reward from Allah. So as far as Allah is concerned, it's not a failure. These are deeds well done, sincerely done. That's not to say we're not happy with better results, but we're not doing these things for results. We do them because we're doing them for the sake of Allah. That's it. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. They're under this deluded assumption that they've built something beautiful. They've manufactured something great. Their name will live on. In the sense of the kuffar, I want to share a couple of interesting reminders with you. The disbeliever has no expectations in the akhirah. A good number of them don't even believe in an afterlife. So you know what they do? They have millions of dollars, and sometimes they die billionaires, right? They have huge assets to their name. Everybody knows. And so they even set up these charitable foundations and things like that. Now they're about to die. They don't even have kids. They're about to die. You know what they do? They donate a huge amount of their money to some hospital or some, cancer research or something. But they put a condition. Make sure you put a statue of mine with my name. At least that much will live on. This is all I have left. I'm going to be gone. My bones are going to be decaying and I'm going to be worm food. At least something that will live on after I die is someone will know that I did this. I did this. This is their major dream. That they will be appreciated and people will remember their name after they're gone. The Muslim doesn't have this mindset. In our minds, the one who should be mentioning us is Allah Azza wa Jalla in the company of angels. And the ones who should be making dua for us and giving us credit in the future is our children, whose good deeds because of our good parenting should count in our account also. We're constantly getting more funds added to our account because of the good deeds of our children. Or the good that we started in a community with sincere intentions. With sincere intentions. Wallahi, sincerity gets talked about and we don't even know what that means anymore. Don't give sadaqah in the masjid because you're guilty. You're doing all kinds of haram things and you say to yourself, maybe I should just give a little so I can keep doing what I'm doing. Wake up. Allah is not looking for your payment so you can pay for your sins. That's not how it works with Allah. On Judgment Day, the person will be offering Allah Azza wa Jalla the wealth of the entire earth. مِلْءُ الْأَرْضِ ذَهَبًا, the weight of the world, in gold. He'll say, take that, just let me go to paradise. It won't be enough. Your status, your career, your standing in the community, your standing among your colleagues, all of these things are temporary. In the end, we're all going to be under the ground. We have to face up to that reality and live accordingly. Our efforts should reflect that. I know we're all busy. But we have to make time to be busy with more important things too. Salat needs your time. Your family needs your time. My family needs my time. Remembering Allah and thanking Him. Appreciating what He's done for us. For you and me personally. Nobody should have to come and remind you. You should be reminding yourself. Every time you look at your healthy children, you should remember what a favor Allah has done to our children. When your children get sick, just one night of sickness, what kind of torture you go through? What kind of torture I go through? So our whole life gets turned upside down. Your work schedule is off. Your wife has lost her sleep. She's getting sick too. Your back is starting to hurt. You can't even think straight. All because of one ni'mah being pulled just a little bit. Just a little bit. But when everything's fine, we're too busy to thank Allah. Too busy. These are the people that are the worst kind of losers. They don't appreciate who Allah is. This should never be a Muslim. Never should a Muslim have this kind of attitude. This kind of heedlessness. Completely oblivious to what Allah has given them. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make us a people of gratitude. Make us a people of remembrance. Make us a people that don't go so busy in worldly life that they forget why they were put on this earth. And that they're going to be leaving this earth one day. And they have to put into place a safety, security, and insurance that when they leave from here, that their deeds will lead to other people coming closer to La ilaha illallah. I leave you inshallah ta'ala with just the following. We all talk about long-term planning. You got day-to-day plans, you got long-term plans. You got long-term financial plans, career plans. You got long-term plans for your kids and their schooling. These are all plans we have. Let me tell you, a long-term plan is what's going to happen after I'm in the ground. How many of us have even talked to our spouse, our husband and our wife? When I die, this is what I want you to do. Because that's a reality. It's a reality. What plan have we made that my children, not just my children, my grandchildren will be holding on to this deen? My grandchildren and their children will be carrying La ilaha illallah, and they will be stronger Muslims than I am. They'll be better Muslims than I am. That's what you call thinking about the future. How many of us have done that? How much thought have we put into that? How much effort, how much sa'i have we made in that direction? فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنَا. I conclude with that, inshallah ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jalla warns these people, we will not establish any scale, any weight for them on Judgment Day. They'll have some cheap good deeds they did when they found the time, because that wasn't a priority for them, and Allah will tell them, this is worthless, don't bring me this. This is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. Allah does not want our leftovers. He really doesn't. He deserves better. And so we have to give Him the best of what we have to offer. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make us appreciate him as he deserves to be appreciated. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim wa nafa'ni wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim. Alhamdulillah wa kafa والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على أفضلهم وخاتم النبيين محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله رحمكم الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.